Italia Trasporto Aereo SpA is the planned state-owned flag carrier of Italy, scheduled to commence operations on the 15th of October 2021. The airline is fully owned by the Government of Italy via their Ministry of Economy and Finance. The airline is planned to take over many of the assets of the current Italian flag carrier, Alitalia. Italy's flag carrier Alitalia had been in operation since 1946. It was taken over by the Italian government in 1957 for a short period of time before returning as a private company, and then reorganized in 2009 and 2015. The airline had merged with a bankrupt Italian airline called Aereo, which led to the 2009 reorganization. Alitalia received investments from Air France-KLM Group and later Etihad Airways. With multiple failed attempts to make the airline profitable, the airline was placed under extraordinary administration in 2017, just days after Etihad Airways ended its support of Alitalia. On the 17th of May 2017, after the government ruled out nationalizing the airline, it was officially put up for sale to be auctioned off. After multiple failed negotiations with Delta Airlines, EasyJet, Italian railway company Ferrovie dello Stato Italiane, and China Eastern Airlines, the Italian government took ownership of the airline. The government takeover was in part due to the belief that the airline would not be able to survive the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on its own. On the 10th of October 2020, the Italian government signed a decree to allow the airline to reorganize as Italia Trasporto Aereo SpA. On the 28th of October 2020, it was reported that ITA was expected to buy several assets from Alitalia Società Aerea Italiana SpA, including the brand and the flight codes of Alitalia and Alitalia Cityliner, the ITA ticketing code, the Mille Miglia frequent flyer program, and airport slots at London Heathrow. The transaction was expected to cost €220 million. However, on the 8th of January 2021, the European Commission sent a letter to the Italian permanent representative to the European Union to launch an open, transparent, non-discriminatory and unconditional tender to shed Alitalia assets. The letter consists of 62 requests for clarification, rejecting the idea that the old carrier could sell its belongings to the new company in private negotiation. The letter stated that ITA should not retain the Alitalia brand, since the brand is an emblematic indicator of continuity. The European Commission suggested that the combined aviation, ground handling, and maintenance businesses should be sold separately to a third party. It also suggested that the slots must be sold, and the Mille Miglia program in its entirety could not be transferred to the new corporate entity. On the 26th of August 2021, ITA officially opened ticket sales on its newly launched website. On the 27th of August 2021, ITA applied for an exemption and a foreign air carrier permit with the United States Department of Transportation. The document mentions the intentions to start flying to New York City, Boston and Miami in 2021, Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. in 2022, and Chicago and San Francisco in 2023. The same document states that prior to the start of its flight operations, planned for the 15th of October 2021, ITA will acquire certain assets from Alitalia Società Aerea Italiana SpA, and that ITA will also participate in a public tender to acquire the Alitalia brand. On the 30th of September 2021, ITA announced that the airline will work with Airbus as a strategic partner with the airline. This included the announcements of the future of ITA fleet. The airline also announced an memorandum of understanding with Airbus for the purchase of 10 Airbus A330neo, 7 Airbus A220 and 11 Airbus A320neo aircraft. Total of 28 new airplanes, along with an agreement with Air Lease Corporation for leasing an additional 31 new Airbus aircraft. The airline is fully owned by the Italian government via the Ministry of Economy and Finance. As ITA is owned by the Italian government, its corporate offices are located with the Ministry of Economy and Finance. The airline's leadership is as follows. ITA plans to serve 45 destinations with 61 routes. growing to 74 destinations and 89 routes by 2025. As of the 20th of September 2021, ITA Italia Trasporto Aereo operates the following aircraft. ITA plans on operating a fleet of 7 wide-body and 45 narrow-body aircraft at the beginning of operations. It is planned that the fleet will be expanded to 78 aircraft by 2022. As planned, the airline indicates it would operate 10 regional aircraft and 55 short-haul aircraft, possibly being the Airbus A320neo and the Airbus A321neo and 13 new jets. For long-haul connections being the Airbus A330neo and the Airbus A350. If consistency is kept with up to 100 jets within the fleet between 2024 and 2025, the possibility of brand new Airbus A321XLRs would be a possibility for longer single-aisle routes, with the routes possibly being Dhaka, Accra and Lagos in Africa and Jeddah, Riyadh and Kuwait City in the middle.